Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the live stream. Thanks for being here. So I think things are back up and running. We had a little bit of a power outage this week for several hours, and that meant everything in here got reset. So everything's a little bit different now, although I do have the lights set to Halloween mode since Halloween is this week. So that was about all I could manage to do for this year. No other fun tricks. But yes, welcome. If you have a question, just a reminder, start your message with the letter Q so I can see it better on the screen as we get going, because things are going to pop in the chat like they normally do, I'm sure. So it just makes it easier for me to spot later. Okay. I've got too many things on the table here in front of me. I was scrambling to get things set up as usual, just because everything got reset, but also because I was trying to set up the chaos router at least enough. I don't have like a fancy buttons for it yet, but at least set it up enough to actually make it usable so I can test things. So what I want to do is I want to try to recreate the problem that happened with the stream last week over SRT from the hotel. So I've got here the OBSBot talent, which is the same as the directory menu, and this is connected into the chaos router so that when it streams, I'm able to throttle the network and add delay and things like that. So we can try to mimic the latency issues I was having on the stream last week. So if you missed it, you can go back and watch it. So I left it up, but the beginning is a bit chaotic. So maybe we can try to recreate some of that digital art. But let me take a look at the chat here to get things going. Oh, yes. The times when nobody knows the right time around the world. That's right. I actually forgot that daylight savings is now in the middle of happening everywhere. And that means next week is us, and I won't be here. So I get to miss daylight savings again. Michael says, can the chaos router imitate latency issues or just packet loss and throughput? So I should be able to tweak the latency. So this is what, whoops, wrong screen. Let's bring that back and make sure that I have this. Yeah. Wow, I don't like this background color. I'm gonna have to change that. This is the web interface for it, and eventually I'm gonna make actual physical buttons to control all these. But this is the interface. It's providing a network connection to the device now, so I can add delay. So I should be able to go in here and add like 150 milliseconds of delay, like we were getting, plus or minus 50. It was like variant. It was varying. So we'll test that in a minute once I get this up and running. Aries Man says, do we need to connect a PC to the Roadster X every time to use the smart pads request? Can we save the presets on the device? Good question. I'm pretty sure they're saved on the device. Yeah, they are, because I have mine over there connected to the desk, but when there's no computer there, it's still... Actually, now I think about it, I don't know, because I only ever use it when there's a computer there, because it's really a capture card, not like a video switcher. I might have one I can plug in. Let's see. Yeah. Should we test? Should we test it? That's what we do here. We test things live. Do I have a USB cord? Close enough. Yes, I do. How am I going to test this? Let's see. I can bring this in here. That one's not long enough. I know I have a USB cord that's long enough. It would be, maybe it's there, maybe it's, no. Is this one? That's not right. That's not good enough USB. Well, maybe this box has them. The, one of these must be, this one looks like it'll work. This one's labeled, this might actually be the one from the Streamer X. It's labeled 5 gigabit 60 watt. Where is the end of it? Oh my gosh. There's 2 wires in this. There we go. And I have a hub down here, which is probably turned off because it does that when the power resets. Yep. Yeah, the power outage was an adventure. It was, I was actually, I woke up at, oh wait, do I need to power this and give it a computer connection? I do. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Is it working? That does not look powered up enough. Oh, maybe it is. That looks good. So let's open Road Central and configure this. I don't want to update Road Central at the moment. It's not finding it yet. Let's plug that one and see if that one finds it. Maybe I will plug this in. I should be able to actually use the power supply from the RØDECaster video. Okay. Now, are you going to find it? Why are you not seeing it? This is the right app, right? I don't need, maybe my hub is not connected. That's probably what it is. Let's turn on that. And there it goes. Okay. Oh, I don't want to update it right now. I guess I have to update it. Okay, so we're going to let that go. Meanwhile. Oh, thanks for the super chat, Keith. Appreciate it. Warm fall drink. Yes, it is. It has been much colder here all of a sudden out of nowhere. But yeah, so I was saying while this is updating, on Thursday, I was coming back from Chicago, and I woke up at like 4 a.m. local time to get on a 7 a.m. flight, and that's 2 hours ahead of Portland. So it was like 2 a.m. when I woke up, and Lily texted me like, "What's the power just went out? Oh no!" And I was like, "Uh-oh, that's gonna be fun. Hopefully it comes back on quick." It didn't. So meanwhile, I'm like on the way to the airport, and then I get in the plane. I get on Wi-Fi, and I actually had originally gotten a notification from Unify saying like some of your devices are offline. And it was only some of them because a lot of them are on battery. So it was like some of them are offline, and I looked at them. I was like, I don't see the pattern. Well, now I do see the pattern. It was all of the ones on that wall and that don't have a battery on them, and so I was like, okay, well, whatever. Sometimes they just switch resets and reboots, and then it kicks some things downstream off, and then it comes back really quick. So I was like, whatever, no big deal. And then later, I even opened up the cameras, and the cameras were all on because they're all battery powered too. And then when Lily was like, "Oh, the power's out," I was like, "Oh, okay, that's a different story." So I'm sitting there like watching as things are going offline once the batteries die. And the finally it was finally like showed up on the outage map for the power company, like, we recognize there's an outage in the area, this many customers are affected. So I'm just like on the plane watching this and hoping it gets resolved by the time I land. And it was getting pushed back and back, and I was like, there's a real chance I'm going to land before the power comes back on at this rate. It came back on like 30 minutes before I landed, so I came home to a normal house. But then I had to go around resetting everything. Still have a few clocks and that are not network controlled, like the coffee maker and the microwave, and then all the studio gear in here. Like, for some reason, all the cameras defaulted to show the like info display over the SDI port, which is weird because that's not how they're set. So I don't know how that happened, but yeah. Still updating, by the way. I have not forgotten what I'm doing. Let's go to the chat, though, see what else is going on. Michael says, "Oh, PDX is getting clear, worth it or not?" Interesting. So I didn't actually realize that. I did have clear for a year through my Amex card. Since Portland doesn't have it, the only chances I got to actually use it were like, where is it? Like San Francisco, Oakland, and like a couple others. And every single time that I went to go use it, the normal pre-check line, because I also have pre-check, the normal pre-check line was like there was no line, or the clear line was actually longer. And one of the, so with clear, you walk up to the machine, but like somebody will come over and help you like get through the machine, and then they will escort you to the front of the pre-check line. and then you basically skip the pre-check line. But actually using that machine takes some time. So if there's no pre-check line, it's faster to go to pre-check and skip clear because you just add steps in clear, fussing with the machine. So it's only worth it if the airport regularly has long pre-check lines, and if you're actually flying in airports that have clear regularly. So if Portland brings it back, I might try it again. I keep getting these 60-day, like Lyft wants me to do a 60-day trial. Like everyone wants me to do a 60-day trial. So probably when they launch it in Portland, I will do a trial again, because I have had a long pre-check line in the Portland airport for all of the last trips this month. So possibly worth it. But absolutely get pre-check if you don't have pre-check already. Yeah. Okay. That was a tangent. Let's take back a look at this. It looks like it's booted up. We have it connected. So now I can go into the smart pads. So with the smart pads, the question is, can I... Okay, let's see what I've got here. Effect 1. So what I want to do is check like whether the effects work. I don't have a microphone close enough, unless there's a cable in here. There is. And is there a microphone I can use? No. Yes. Okay. So we can check whether the effects work. So that's going to be the red button. And then there is, I want to do like a sound. I don't want to import a sound, so I guess I'll just use, okay, here. So page 2 has a bunch of sounds that'll run. So, the question is, does this work without a computer connected? And the the longest way to test this, but hey, you know, sometimes it's more fun this way. Okay, I got a microphone. What is effect 1? It's a megaphone sound. Great. That means what I need is to give this a video signal, which I can steal one from the RØDECaster over here. Let's give it that. Ah, it's too short. I've got a longer cable. Maybe this one. Ah. The one thing I wish this Streamer X did is I wish the HDMI out could be configured to not be a pass-through, but actually be a output of including the sound effects and stuff. Okay, so with that, I should be able to open up QuickTime with Streamer X. Yep. So Streamer X for camera and Streamer X main for audio. So this is now recording from the Streamer X. So wait, what does it do when there's no computer connected? I guess I have to connect it to something that's not a computer, because it's just a capture card, so it needs to capture into something. What am I doing? We can try it into the we can try plugging it into the Magewell. That should work. So with that configured, we've got sound banks. We've got, oh, that's not going to work over USB-C. Now I need a new USB cord. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is so complicated. Well, you know what you signed up for by joining the stream. This is what you get. Does this even work with the Magewell Director Mini, or aka OBSBot Talent? I don't know. I have not tried it before. So webcam. Not the OBSBot Tiny. No webcam found. Well, I don't actually know if this is a good USB cable. So we're going to keep trying USB cables. I need an A to C that has data pins, not just charging pins. This one labeled GoPro should work, right? Let's try this. Streamer X. I know I got this to work at some point because I did a video with both of these. So I had like, this is actually why this is on the stand, because I've got, put the Director Mini up here. Oh, it doesn't have a finger screw. Darn, can't do that without getting the tools out. Anyway, that's why it's got the stand here, so I can put that up there. Okay, that cable is not recognizing it. I know this has worked, so what am I doing wrong? Didn't use the through, did I? Huh. Well, if this doesn't work, I don't know what to tell you. Well, while you're all watching me connect these things with USB cables, why don't you tell me what were you trying to do with the Streamer X not connected to a computer? Because I'm actually kind of curious about what's the use case. No webcam found still. Okay, let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. Try to connect one more time. Webcam 1. Still not finding it. Huh. I don't know why it's not recognizing the webcam, because I have done this before. So weird. Okay. I think the answer is yes. Here's why I think the answer is yes. Even though we don't have the ability to see the output of this, I can press the buttons. And page 2 was music. Right? It like knows that it knows there's stuff in it. So maybe I can just use headphones. Maybe that's how we can test. You'll have to take my word for it though. Aha, we got an answer. Using Linux, no software support on Linux. Okay, so if you configure, that makes sense. So if you configure everything in Rode Central on a Mac or a Windows box, then can you use this with Linux? So here is a headphone jack. And if I... Okay, so turn up the headphones. I can hear myself. This is not a good microphone to use for this, but oh yeah, that makes it sound like tinny. It's playing music. I don't know if you can hear that. It's playing music through the headphones. So yeah, this is now not even connected to any computer. And it's not connected to any computer. It's just got power and it does have a video signal coming in, which I'm not doing anything with. But then the microphone processing was working and the sound effects and music were playing. So there you go. That was a lot. Great. That's how we do it here. Okay. Let me get these. What I actually want to do is bring this back to the RØDECaster video because I want to play with the Chaos router. And I want to test the Chaos router on the RØDECaster video and on the Magewell device. So we're going to that drawer somehow. I think. Okay. Oh, there was a microphone cable in that drawer too. Nice. No worries about the troubles. My fault for not having everything right here. Stupid daylight savings time. Yes. Okay. Let's get that overhead shot on the TV back there. Okay, let me take a look at the chat here. Matt says, I was keep hoping a version 2 of the Streamer X will allow that. Yeah, I think that would be, it basically be like a tiny RØDECaster video at that point. So maybe that's not going to happen, but I do think it would be useful. Have I tried the new 4K PTZ camera from Zoetech? No, I haven't. Interesting. Jarno says, just got my first Hollyland Mars M1, but did not include battery. What do you recommend for the charger? Found small rig VB99 for DTAP. Hollyland Mars M1. I haven't looked at the Hollyland products in a while. Oh, this is the, right. This is their combo wireless receiver and monitor. So I have used the battery, like this is like the, what is it? Sony NPF style batteries. I've used those most frequently on all of the Hollyland products. I guess there is a DC input you could use, but if you don't need, infinite battery life, just use the Sony batteries because they're nice. DTAP battery will last a lot longer though. Okay, question from earlier from David. Have you seen the Yolobox Extreme? What are your thoughts on the device proposed price? I haven't seen it in person, but I saw the announcements at IBC about that. Definitely interesting. I am, the price seems reasonable for what it is. Like, it seems, to make sense given how many inputs it has and where everything else fits. Yeah, interesting. I do wish that it had some SDI inputs because I think 8 HDMI is just a lot of HDMI. At the point that you're getting 8 cameras, I feel like some of them you're going to probably want longer cable runs. So that's something I wish they had done. I do think that just going up a notch on like all the specs isn't quite actually enough. It's not actually. It doesn't solve that many new problems because as soon as you go beyond 4 cameras, like, especially because you can bring so many other things into the Yolobox without HDMI, like the built-in web page, the built-in chat messages, you can bring SRT and NDI feeds, all that. Like, once you get to the point of needing 8 cameras, then you probably also need to do other things like feeding monitors or better audio mixers or things where you're going to use it in different settings. So I kind of wish they had gone more like branched out farther from what their normal product line is, rather than just made it bigger. So those are my thoughts, I guess. Airliners Live says, I'm curious as to why the latest release from Rode is 1080 with all the Blackmagic devices also being 1080. I really hope we get 4K units soon. Here's the thing. Almost nobody actually needs to do 4K live streams. The actually needing 4K for live streams is very rare. And second, it's actually still a hard problem to solve, like, computationally. It's not twice the video, it's 4 times the data in your video stream. And it's just a lot. So like imagine there's a chip that does 1080, processing of a 1080 rectangle. You need 4 times that processing power. So physically 4 times the chips to process a 4K video. And everything just explodes in complexity when you start doing that. So it would be significantly more expensive and significantly hotter. So it would need more cooling. So it probably needs to be larger. And so like, you can do it. Blackmagic does have 4K units, just not the mini ones. If you go to the Blackmagic website, they do have like this one in a 4K model and Constellations in 4K. But if you look at the price, like this is 4K, this is the panel in HD, and it's actually a lot of the cost is the buttons, so maybe this isn't the best comparison. But the 4K one is $4,600, and it's only got 8 inputs, and like that's what it takes. Maybe this is the better price comparison because these have fewer buttons, so the buttons are actually pretty expensive. But like, it's more than double the cost to go up to 4K, especially once you start adding more than just like this one. Again, has just 10 inputs. This one's got 20 inputs, and even though 20 is twice the number as 10, the cost of doing it in 4K is more than twice that. So this is it just explodes in complexity, because what we're talking about with these switchers these can do a lot more video processing than any computer can do, because it's all dedicated hardware. So and that's also true with the RØDECaster video, although it does have a tiny computer inside, but the video processing is done in the hardware chips. So this is, it's significantly more complex. It's going to be a lot more expensive. People are already complaining about the price of the RØDECaster video. So I don't think it would make any sense to do a 4K version anytime soon, because again, almost nobody actually needs 4K for streams. Like, you do a stream and then you're gonna, how many of you are watching this on a phone, right? Like your phone, the screen's this big. Even if it's 4K versus 1080, you're not gonna know the difference. So what's more important is getting the sound to sound good so you can hear me, because you're probably not even looking at the stream most of the time you're watching this, right? So right now we use a streaming PC with 4K capture cards. Yeah, so Aries Man, I'm not sure if this is a question for me or for Airliners Live. Can it process all 8 channels in 4K without lag? So the ATEM, absolutely, yes. Like the whole design of the ATEM switchers is that the video processing is done with dedicated hardware, and there is no lag in the processing by definition, because it's all done in these hardware chips. So yeah, like you can do crossfades, you can do all the upstream, downstream keying, scaling, all that's going to happen without lag because it's all hardware. If you start doing this in a PC, then it's all in the CPU, and that means the more angles you add, the more overloaded the system gets, and then you're going to get lag at some point. That's also true with the Yolobox Extreme and the Magewell Director Mini. Those do a lot of the video processing in software in the CPU. So the more stuff you add, then the more lag you're going to get. So that is that's the deal. Okay, that was a question for me. Yeah. So the ATEMs absolutely all. If you go up to the big ones, like the Constellation 4K, this has 40 inputs that are 4K, and yes, it will process all of them at the same time with no latency, 100%. I'm using the HD version of this, so I don't have the 4K, app, but I've got 40 inputs coming in. It's handling them all, right? They're all always on. They're always there. I can always switch to them. I can use them in any layouts like this. And like, if I were to build a computer that could handle 40 inputs, it would be huge and expensive and not a fun experience. Let's just say that. Sean says, watching on a 2012 MacBook Pro, definitely not 4K. Nice. Michael says, non-looker, literally just listening on my AirPods. Yeah, exactly. Rocket Films, I run the live stream for things like the Gucci and Burberry fashion shows, Nike, and many others. We only stream 1080. Exactly. There you go. Love it. That's some good clients right there. Okay, so Adam makes a good point. Not a big demand for 4K streaming, but there's massive demand for 4K multicam production. Absolutely. So this is why. So yeah, 4K multicam production. Absolutely, I agree with. I agree that a lot of produced content can benefit from 4K, whereas live streams typically won't benefit from 4K. Multicam production saves a ton of time in editing. Like, all the videos I've been doing on this channel actually are, I just give my editor a file. I give them one file, and what I have been doing during the recording was live cutting. And I'll have gaps and you know, I'll be like, oh, I need to like plug this thing in now. So I'll just leave it running while I'm recording and then switch angles, and they trim out all the gaps, right? But it saves so much time for them versus assembling a multicam project file if I just give them one file that's been live edited. And in order to do that, I need to have everything running in the resolution, the final resolution. So that is why all my videos are HD, because I don't have the setup for doing 4K multicam. That said, if you do want 4K multicam for you know, recording, you can do it. And this is actually where, well, this is a good example. This device, the Television Studio 4K 8, does have recording and streaming built in, just like the ATEM minis. So that's the point of this one. And this means it has a 4K streaming encoder built into it. This one does not have a 4K streaming encoder built into it. This is just the switcher part. And if you look at the price difference, one, the price on this is higher because of all the buttons, but $4,600 compared to $1,800. So you can do a 10 input 4K multicam production on this box for $1,800, which is actually a pretty reasonable price. And then you get all your cameras brought into that in 4K, and you do your recording on a hyperdeck, and you don't need a 4K streaming encoder. If you want to grab the 4K streaming encoder, that's over here. You can add that for $600, which is not actually that terrible for what it is, right? But so you can do it, but you're not going to find like that. I just don't think the market is there for these kind of small switchers to get 4K, because these are people are going to be primarily using them for streaming rather than multicam productions where you're going to go into like the rack mount stuff. So that's my thought on it. Oh my gosh, lots of chats. PTRJ, the single box concept of the ATEM is valuable over rack mount units. For certain things, yes, absolutely. Like a lot of, if you are moving around a lot, then having everything in that one panel is great. But if I'm building out a studio, like I actually probably want the rack because I don't need as many buttons because I'm going to automate things differently. Anyway, there's use cases for both for sure. Double triple cost of the 4K ATEM mini would be attractive. Even if you didn't want to live stream in 4K, you could at least ISO record it for later processing. Yeah. So I agree. And what would it take to do an ATEM mini like that? I don't know. But like $1,800 is, I guess, actually triple the cost of an ATEM mini, right? And you can get it right now. You can get a 10 input 4K switcher, $1,800. That's a reasonable price. This actually also has, back to the Yolobox discussion, 6 SDI outputs that are also 4K. 6 outputs, not one output, right? It's not just the multi-view. And this is, again, like kind of to my point of, once you start getting into these either more angles or 4K stuff, you probably want more than just one output, because you're going to feed screens. You maybe want to feed a confidence monitor or feed the projector in the room or whatever, right? Like that's why I think that the Yolobox kind of missed the opportunity there to branch out into those kinds of use cases by doing a significantly larger device. Airliners Live says, I think we may be a weird use case. A lot of our viewers watched on TVs at home, so it's something which is requested a lot and makes a big difference to the clarity on large screens. Yeah, if you do know that most of your viewers are watching on large 4K TVs, then I guess that is the one case where you can be sure that your viewers actually will be watching a 4K stream. The if that is like, if it's really that important to you, then you can put a kit together. It's just going to cost a lot and not be quite as small as the ATEM minis. And I realistically don't think it's going to change in the near future. Yeah, one option though is actually to upscale your 1080 into 4K because a lot of people won't be able to tell. A lot of people think they want 4K and actually then can't actually tell the difference. So if they just see the 4K icon in their YouTube, they'll be like, cool, this is 4K. But you could upscale 1080 to 4K on the way out and send them 4K. It'll just be upscaled. Oh yeah, and then David says, my 4K smart TV upscales anything less than 4K and it always looks great. Really, the 4K issue was so 2012. 4K is great, but cost benefit is still 1080. Yeah. The very first question to answer for streaming is know your demographic. Funeral visitation is 45 to dead using phone or Walmart 23. Yeah. Even YouTube is not great at 4K streams. I was watching a stream from a very large studio and it glitched bad until they were forced to switch to 1080. Wow. Okay. Old school using a computer in the office. Maybe it's my age, but I hate watching things on the phone. That's why I got the large iPad for the long flights. Oh, large iPads are fantastic for flights. I'm a huge fan. Actually, I don't have the big one. I have the 11-inch. The 13-inch is just too big for me. Emerald says, no super source in the 1ME ones. Oh, yeah. That's my one complaint about this. The 1MEs don't have the super source feature, which is what I'm using to make this layout right now, my camera next to the computer screen. But if your goal is multicam production, you don't need super source because you're gonna just do full screen cuts anyway. So I do wish it had super source in it though, because it's weird that it doesn't in that one. What is the proposed cost of the Yolobox Extreme? Good question. I don't remember off the top of my head now. Where did it? It's not out yet, so it's not going to be on the retailers' websites. I feel like I saw the price listed somewhere, but I don't remember now. So if anybody remembers, drop it in the chat. We'll see if we can. Yeah. Videogram says, my 2 cents. I'm a professional video producer since '79 and freelance since 2002 doing broadcast material for TV. Not one client has asked for 4K material for broadcasters. Still in HD. Yeah. With ATEM ISO, you can switch the footage to 4K in the Resolve project as long as you record 4K in camera. Oh yeah, totally. So that's the for sure. So this is a big one of the workflows they push a lot with in the Blackmagic marketing is the recording in camera 4K. Do your live switching on the ATEM, record ISO files, but then also record in camera. And if you're using Blackmagic cameras, the ATEM can actually trigger recording in the cameras, and then in post, you can swap out the files. And the downside of that is just time, the post-production time, because it means going to each camera, grabbing SD cards. Some of the cameras can record to network drives now, so you could save some time that way. Anyway, going around, grabbing all the footage, compiling it, swapping it out in the project, but actually doing a live switch, recording one 4K file would be, ideal. Adam says a combined 4-channel hardware 4K recorder and vision mixer is the ultimate production dream. Yeah, yep. Never seen a price on the Extreme. Oh, interesting. Maybe I'm just remembering it wrong. Okay. Great. Train Spotter says, have you tested the Orange Pi 5 Plus? No, I have not. What is that? Orange Pi. Is that different than it's like a single board that's not a Raspberry Pi? No, I haven't. It looks got a bunch of HDMIs. I bet you could do some cool graphics stuff with it. Oh, HDMI in also. What? Okay, this is a cool little box. One HDMI in, two HDMI outs. Wonder if you could build a tiny video switcher out of this. That'd be kind of fun. I might have to try something. Anyway, okay. Adam says another requirement is streaming in 1920 1080 and 1080 by 1920 at the same time. 4K makes it super easy without losing quality on the vertical version. That is a good point. That is a good point. Yes, there are some use cases. I used an ATEM Mini as a switcher to an actual cinema screen, and outside of the weird aspect ratio, 1080p was fine. Wow. Okay, cool. Oh, I missed a couple of questions from earlier. Boa and Arrows. Thanks for your video. I wanted to ask a question. If you have a video switcher encoder, do you necessarily need an audio interface to bring in audio, or can you take audio from the mixer? You definitely don't always need an audio interface. I kind of prefer to bring in audio from the same stream as the video anyway, just because it just simplifies things. It's like if you're bringing audio in from a camera, even it'll be in sync by default. But the reasons why you might want an external mixer is if you need more control than the video switcher gives you, because the video switchers often have much more limited audio controls. Like the ATEM does have EQ and compressors and stuff, but then you don't have any knobs for them either. So that's mainly what to consider. Oh, Michael's meant to say 4K broadcast is at such a low bit rate. Oh wait, what did you say earlier? Oh, most broadcast 4K is at such a low bit rate. I feel like it's pointless a lot of the times. Got it. Okay. Wow, that was fun. Okay, back to the Chaos router. So, this is a Linux box, and it is running a Linux program called TC traffic control, and then somebody made this web interface for it to configure. Basically, normally you have to like do a bunch of command line fiddling to set these parameters, which nobody wants to do. So there's a web interface for it where you can just enter in values for these. Eventually, I'm gonna build this little physical box that gives me actual knobs to turn for these, and I've got all the knobs purchased. I've got the panel for mounting all the knobs cut out and etched with all the markings for them, and the box frame. And now I need to actually wire them all together. So I've not had enough time to do that. Maybe this winter I will get around to it. In the meantime, I think this is working. What I wanted to do was actually go back to the SRT test the SRT stream in this box that I did on Sunday, do an SRT stream to the server in my studio to show it on the stream and see if we can recreate the problem, and then play with the delays. So first, what I need to do is go to my SRT listener and then bring that on the screen, which is, did I give myself a upstream key for it? Let's see. Yes, I did. It's 3. So if I bring 3 on air, that is a very thick border. We're going to do that. And I don't need this to be nearly that big. So, okay, this is the SRT server that's in my studio. So I should be able to push a stream from any device now over SRT into that box. So I need to configure this. Oh, and looks like I need to go back to settings, add an SRT stream. There we go. I'll add the IP address of that box. What is the port? 9100. And stream ID. I don't think I have a stream ID on this. Let's test that. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So I can stream from the box from this into that little window on the stream. So if I go show the drone footage, for example, great. Okay. So with that running, actually, I think I need to change this to not cut back. Where was that? Action. There we go. End action. We're just going to repeat. So we're just going to play this on a loop. This is not my best drone video. It'd be more fun to use a different one. Okay. So this should just play on a loop, and then we can use this to test the latency. So I can see that this is taking 4 megabits to encode the stream, which is about what I expect. And what I can do is I can now add some latency. So if I add 100 milliseconds of latency to this connection, we're going to see what happens. So that's not too bad. So over here, I've got 100 milliseconds consistent. Maybe I should add a variance just so it's not, let's go 30 milliseconds. Okay. I think this is working. I should probably actually, let's do a test and add like 50% packet loss just to make sure that this is actually doing something. So let's see how long this takes before it gets all corrupted. Is it not actually dropping packets? Let's try more packets. Okay, let me do this. It shouldn't be that smooth still, so something is wrong. Get my monitoring up. That one is RX TX. Okay. Oh, it finally dropped. So, okay, there. Okay, this is actually working. So, this is showing us the bandwidth graph of the box now as well. I've switched it down to 10% packet loss instead of 90. It finally dropped off at 90. So, 100 milliseconds is not very much delay. So what I'm going to do now, let's get rid of the packet loss. Let's go up to like 500 milliseconds, which was closer to what was happening at the hotel. It was very weird that it was that much, but let's go see what happens with that. And see how long it takes until it starts glitching. I'm not actually sure how, if it's like instant, if it instantly takes effect or not. Still seeing good bandwidth, but that makes sense. It's just delayed. What else can I do that might represent what was happening at the hotel's network? Not just delay, but like maybe also reordering probably. So let's do like 10% reordering, and the I can also just set a capped bit rate, but I had decent upload bandwidth, so I don't think that was I don't think that was a problem. Yeah, the problem with hotel is the lack of consistency, which is what I'm trying to simulate with the variance in that. What's the latency and overhead options on the transmit side? Oh, this is a good point. Do I have the ability to generate traffic and fill the pipe? I do have the ability to put a different device onto the same network. That's how I would need to do that. What's the best way to do that? I'm not sure. Oh, it just occurred to me that that says down. Did I do this on the wrong side? ETH0 is what this web interface is connected to, though, so this might totally mess it up. Let's see if this breaks my access to the web interface. Oh, yep, that's doing it. It's totally, it just locked up. So that's why I labeled this download, so I didn't make that mistake. Okay, so let's drop this down. So it was limiting the data coming back to the Magewell encoder, not the data going up. So it wasn't actually really a problem because it doesn't need to get any data down for the SRT stream. Okay, so let's clear that out. Oh, and now my web interface is delayed by 500 milliseconds also. So let's go back to like 100 and plus or minus 20 and see what happens with that. See if I can get the stream to recover at all. Maybe I should actually just like stop and start again. Okay. It's not even able to. Oh, come on. You should be able to handle 100. There we go. That's terrible. Look at that. Okay. It's interesting that it's not doing the fun like video glitches. It's just like pausing. Maybe if I start doing some of this other like reorder 5% of the packets, corrupt 1%, corrupt 2%, maybe drop some of them. So theoretically, what I should be able to do is set up the bad connection here, and then actually change the settings of the SRT encoder to compensate for it, because that's essentially what I did at the hotel. But it's really stuck now. Wow. Okay, so I go, what is the IP of this? Can I pull up this web interface without getting throttled by my own network? Barely. I hope I remember the password that I used. Okay, good. So let's go to the streaming settings on the OBS bot. And I guess I should turn off the stream in order to change the settings. What I want to do is go in here and change the latency to 600 to see if that fixes it. It should be 6 times the ping latency. So with that, can we get this to be smooth again? We are still dropping some. There it goes. Nope, not smooth. Oops. Wow, okay. I might have to tweak some of my, figure out how best to tweak my traffic control rules to simulate. Okay, I took out the corrupt packets. And now we're just sitting at 100 milliseconds of latency. And now it's fine. So, okay, we can at least test this. I was really hoping to get those video glitches back, but I guess we're not going to get that. What I wanted to do is now disconnect that, go back to what happens when the latency is not correct. Then we stream. If the latency is too low, the SRT feed should not be able to handle this well. Yeah, great. So not nearly as dramatic as the actual hotel stream, but we do see that it's not able to handle the 100 millisecond latency now that the SRT latency is also 100 milliseconds. But if I change the SRT latency, if I change the SRT encoder settings back up to 600, then it does compensate for the delay in the internet connection. There we go. So hopefully this is smooth now at 600 SRT latency. Okay, cool. So, okay, good question. So here's the big picture question. Well, I understand the fun of testing. What would you really do with the results? If you're in a hotel room, you have what you have. Yes. So the in the hotel room, I did the test the night before, and I got I had 10 millisecond ping times. And I was like, great, this seems like a solid connection. Then I went to go stream. The ping times were 500 milliseconds, which I didn't test before. So what I'm trying to do is recreate that setting and then see, can I compensate for that with other video encoder settings? So then if I know my connection is extra latency or whatever, or lower bandwidth, are there settings I can change on the encoder to fix it? And that's what we just did, right? So with the SRT setting on this, which is, I'll show you again where that is. In the SRT config, when you go to the encoder, there is a setting, latency. So the encoder can choose what latency to use. So if you have a good internet connection, you can set this down pretty low, like 120. If you know that your internet connection has additional latency, you need to set this higher. So what the correct thing to do is, right before you go live, do a ping test to your streaming server, and then set your latency appropriately. And then with that, now the connection is smooth. Now the stream is smooth, even though you have the bad network. So one fun fact, you might notice that there is no latency setting in the Blackmagic, in the ATEM or the Web Presenter software. So that is because what they've done is when you press go live, it actually first does a ping, measures the latency, and then sets the latency value automatically. So they just went and said, well, we don't want users to have to fiddle with that, so we're just going to do it for them. We're just going to do it right. And that's kind of cool. So it just works. London drives. I came in late. What's the device? So this one is the OBSBot Talent, which is the same hardware as the Magewell Director Mini. Ignore this. I'm not using this right now. This has got a wired network connection to a Linux machine, which is a router, and the Linux box then has software on it for messing with the data that it's routing. So I can change the delay, packet loss, things like that. Corrupt packets, all sorts of fun stuff. I thought you got the biggest improvement last week by dropping to 720. I don't think that actually was the case. I think that was the first thing I tried, and it was somewhat of an improvement, but I had to fix the latency issue also. Matt says, I don't think you can reproduce the hotel lack of consistency, which causes all the strange stuff. I feel like I should be able to, though, because like I can do a lot of weird things in here, right? There's like duplicate packets, reordering packets, corrupt packets. So it can do a lot of stuff. Let's see. What happens if I... So one of the things about the... what is... How would I... How... So one of the things about SRT... Oh, I got it. I got it to do it. Okay. It's gonna... It might do it. It might do it again. I'll let that run. One of the things about SRT... So in my video about SRT versus... I guess I should put that on the TV back there. Where is that plugged into? Right. That's the Magewell. So one of the things about SRT is that even though it's not, so it's definitely an improvement over RTMP. And I have this video about where I talk about like the protocol differences. So RTMP like has just much more back and forth chatter, and it's not nearly as good as SRT for video. But SRT itself doesn't actually know about the video codec itself. So it knows that it's used for real-time data, so it can do things like this is one of the latency settings, but it can do things like stop retrying old packets because they're not relevant anymore, right? Like if you know that you if your latency is set to 500 milliseconds, then like there's no point in continuing to try to resend data from 1,000 milliseconds ago, right? So it can be smarter about discarding old data in order to keep it more real time. However, it doesn't actually know about the video codec itself. So, for example, in like H.264, there will be keyframes, and you can set your keyframe interval in a lot of the encoders. I don't think we have a setting for that on the Director Mini. We might actually. Let's. Oh, this is. I forgot. This is actually H.265. Oh yeah, I can set the keyframe interval. So this is a good example. I get in the encoder settings for the OBSBot Talent. I keep saying Director Mini. For the OBSBot Talent, I can set the keyframe interval, and I have set it to 1 second here. I can also set it to 2 seconds. This information is not part of the SRT stream. So every 2 seconds, it'll send like a keyframe, which is like a snapshot of the whole image again. And between keyframes, it's only sending like diffs of the image. So it's like, this part of the image didn't change, so don't even bother sending anything, right? This thing is moving over here, so track this like the boat is a good example. Like it's actually probably, it's not sending every pixel frame by frame. It's sending like these pixels moved over here, right? And way more complicated than that because it's all video math, but it's that rough idea. But every 2 seconds, it'll send like a snapshot to like catch everything up in case some of the data in between was missed. So if your transport is not aware of the keyframe interval, for example, or any of the actual video protocol or codec, then what's happening is like if some of the data gets missed, some of that data might be in the keyframes. So if it doesn't get a keyframe every 2 seconds, then if like part of that keyframe is missed, then the motion data from later is going to apply to the wrong video, and you'll get weird like streaking artifacts, which is kind of what was happening. I really would love to be able to recreate that here. Let's try some more reordering of packets to really throw things. Yeah, okay, there we go. So see that little bit of white down there? That was because like that, it didn't, it missed the keyframe and then, you know, applied something from somewhere else in the picture to the wrong part of the picture. So this is getting really bad now. 5% reorder is too much. There's another splotch. We're getting there. We're getting there. Let's try. That white splotch looks actually suspiciously like the reflection on the water. So it could be related. Oh, it dropped out. Oh, it's probably because I set my data rate way too low. Okay, let's try that. There we go. Is it going to... Well, we'll let that run for a little longer. Nope, bitrate is too low for that. This is why I want physical knobs so I can like actually... Anyway. Yeah, so that's... So one thing that I'm pretty sure someone's working on this. I can't remember which group it's in, but another really great improvement would be if the transport protocol was aware of the video codec. So if you tie them together, then you could do things like prioritize the keyframe traffic, and if nothing else, you know, make sure that full keyframe goes through, or prioritize the audio, like always make sure audio data is always available and has no gaps, because people can tolerate a visual gap a lot more than they can tolerate audio dropouts. So yeah, that would be, it's something, that's so weird. That one's it's consistently doing it in that part of the video. Oh yeah, the other problem was when I changed more of the picture, then we were getting problems. So let's see if that's also true here. I was able to handle that pretty well. And I was doing scene changes, because if it missed part of the keyframe during a scene change, then yeah, all hell broke loose. Let's plug my camera in here so I can get some better video too. It looks like it's not doing very well with all the packet loss that I've got on the connection right now. Not as fun glitches. I'm gonna have to recreate that at some point. Nils says, "Can you explain your quick song?" Oh no. This was how do I even explain this? There was a research paper published about Quick, which is like the successor to HTTP 2, and the research paper was titled "Quick is not quick enough over fast internet," and the premise was that Quick is supposed to be like better for delivering web pages in all scenarios, but apparently when your internet connection is too good, then actually the protocol means there's just like waste, and it gets messed up. It doesn't work. So this was the paper. I didn't read the whole paper. I read the abstract, and I thought it was hilarious, and so I gave it to it. It's the paper. I did read some of the paper, but the abstract just sounded, the tone of voice that was used, and it just sounded so angry. It just sounded like they were fundamentally angry at the world, and I was like, this would be hilarious as a screamo metal song. So I gave it to an AI music generator and turned the abstract into lyrics, and it was hilarious. I'm gonna hopefully get a chance to share that with the quick people next week. IT never gets also. It'd be interesting if the hardware encoders could adapt to the bandwidth and latency degradation. Yeah, this is, I think, again, where we need to get a little bit better than. Should I turn off the glitchy video? It's really like it's really bad now. It'd be nice if things could adapt better. And I think that we might need better protocols still in order to make that work. Here's an actual question from Sean. How can I connect multiple HDMI cables of the camera in one device such that they can be used as a source for OBS simultaneously? Oh, you basically need multiple capture cards. So multiple capture cards, or a capture card that supports multiple cameras. One of them is the deck link from Blackmagic. So I have one in this computer right now. These kinds of cards where it's like multiple inputs. Some of these you can do inputs and outputs, but like this one can do a ton of stuff, right? There's also the other one is from this brand. I haven't ever used these ones before, but same idea. It's a card that'll go in and give you multiple inputs and outputs. Oh, good. And they have officially support Mac. But yeah, this is what you're going to need if you want multiple cameras in OBS, or you can just get multiple capture cards to a point, because then you're starting to flood your USB bus. Julian says, do you know of any PTZ webcam from OBSBot or DJI that can output uncompressed UVC? Looking for a simple AI tracking camera to connect to the RØDECaster video. I would also like to find that. I have not yet found one that works. Now that song, the quick is not quick enough song, is stuck in my head. If you go, I can send you a link to where you can listen to them. Actually, I guess I can play it on the stream, technically, if I trust their claims about copyright, AI copyright, which is complicated. But I'll drop a link to my Suno page where I've got these songs. I'm actually doing a serious project with the AI music generator also, which is on a whole different channel. And I'm not done with it yet. These videos are getting no views, so feel free to subscribe and listen to those songs too. But what I'm doing is I'm taking the short songs that I wrote. They're like 30 to 60 seconds long, and I'm using AI to turn them into full songs. And the videos on the channel are basically like the actual process of me doing it. Like I film them like live streams where I'll just sit down and there's no narrative structure to the video, but it's literally like I open up the editor, I upload the song, I work on extending it, and then turn it back into a song. So I have 30 left out of the 100 to go. Hopefully I can finish by the end of the year. That's my goal now. Play it. Okay. Let me make sure my computer audio is routed into the stream so you can hear it. Where is that? That would be this one. Okay. Some of these are fun. Okay, here it is. Quick is not quick enough.
TTP plus click plus HTTP 3 stacks represent data length reduction of up to 45% compared to the 2% compared to the TCP plus TLS plus LTTP2 counterpart. Moreover, the performance gap between quick and OTTP2 grows as the underlying bandwidth increases. Quick is not quick enough. Quick is not quick enough over fast internet. We observe this issue. Highway data transfer clients in major web browsers. Edge 5 on different hosts. Desktop and mobile and other diverse networks. That affects not only file transfers, but also various applications, such as video streaming up to 9.8% video reduction. Quick is not quick enough. Quick is not quick enough over fast internet. Through rigorous packet trace analysis and kernel and user space profiling, we identify the root cause to be high receiver side processing overhead, in particular excessive data packets and quick user space hacks. Quick is not quick enough. Quick is not quick enough over fast internet. We make concrete recommendations for mitigating the observed performance issues.
There you go. You're welcome. Oh my God. Okay. That was ridiculous. Thanks, Aries, man. Hit like and subscribe and comment. Click the bell to all notifications. That would be a fun song. I should do a song for that. User Space X. Yeah, I thought because there's a Media Over Quick IETF group. Yeah, I should go share this song with them next week, or I guess 2 weeks. Okay. Reminds me of when I used to Drupal dev and someone wrote a Drupal song that folks love to play at conferences. Yeah. Back to serious business. You need to ask Rode to support MJPEG on RØDECaster video. That would sort out OBSBot cameras. I agree. I wonder why they didn't launch with that. Hamburg Hoffen Live says, I use OBS on Mac M2 with HEVC hardware encoder. With CBR, the bitrate is never constant. When I set it to 10, it's most of the time at 15 or more. Do you know this effect or how to solve? No, I have not tried that much with OBS. That is interesting. I have noticed that even in other encoders, when you set it to constant bitrate, it is not exactly like an exact science. Will there be a stream next week? No, there will not be a stream next week because I will be either on a plane or at Heathrow on my way to Dublin. So no stream next week, which is fine because it's the daylight savings in the US anyway. So it's just going to be a big mess of people joining whenever anyway. Where was I? Andrew says, have you ever used Autopod to edit multicam videos? It's recently available in Resolve and would love to see a demo with an ATEM and Autopod to produce a multicam video. Oh, that's a great idea. No, I haven't ever used it. I've been doing... Wait, are they out yet? Do I need to not spoiler my videos that are not yet out? Yeah, they're not out yet. Probably this week, the one that I'm going to publish... it's queued up on YouTube, but I've been doing demos of the auto switching. So auto switching feature that is in the various switchers. So the wrong one. RØDECaster Video does have auto switching built in. So if you map audio sources to camera angles, it'll auto switch your podcast. So Director Mini does not have that. Yolobox does. ATEM, you can do it with Mix Effect if you add in that app. So I've been doing comparisons of them side by side. So on Tuesday, I have a video coming out which is comparing the RØDECaster and the Yolobox auto switching with the same podcast material. So I have like the ISO recordings of a podcast that I filmed a while ago with Lily and one of the House Files episodes, and I was able to I'm piping it back into the switchers. So testing out the auto switching features in them. But I like the idea of also adding the post production version to that as well. So I will add that to the list. To the quick music, you should like this live stream and then hit the subscribe and ring the bell. I'm gonna have to do that. Oh, Aries Man joined as a pro supporter. Oh, thank you very much. Welcome, welcome. Make sure you click on the members tab on YouTube and then go find the link to the Discord server and join the Discord. And then we can continue chatting about stuff in there throughout the week. Carlos says, any recommendations on protecting our equipment from electrical surges? My ATEM Ethernet switch and Focusrite computer all got damaged at once. It seems it came through the Ethernet port. Oh, yikes. Yeah, that's definitely a bummer. I mean, all the normal surge protector stuff applies. Like, it's nothing special for video gear, really. I like to have a battery powering everything, first of all, and then it that also can act as a surge protector. It helps smooth out some of the line noise sometimes. Ethernet, definitely, you can get surge protectors for Ethernet. So anything coming into the building should probably be on a surge protector. That's a bummer, though. Yeah. Airliners Live says, we use a remote camera using an RTMP mini server app. The stream was unstable, stuttering and dropping. As soon as we moved to Caster and took an RTMP polling from them to OBS, it's been flawless. Same environment, exactly the same equipment, just different RTMP and send address for the remote encoder. Any ideas what we should look at? Yeah, the encoders, I think, can definitely make a difference like this. If you have the ability to do SRT instead of RTMP, absolutely do that, because it'll do even better. But yeah, I mean, the RTMP encoder is absolutely, like, they can be different. So the Blackmagic ones, for example, do really poorly on bad network connections, but other RTMP encoders can handle the same bad network connection much better. So yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that, I guess, is what I would say. Have I used the replay system in DaVinci Resolve? Yeah, I have a couple of live stream demos of it so far. I don't have a video about it yet, but I have tested out on some live streams already. And I don't yet have the panel. So at some point, I had too much going on this whole month. But at some point, I'm not going to be on planes every week, and I'm going to hopefully get to a panel in to test. But then I'll do an actual video. But I haven't done a video yet because it works with just Resolve, but it's awkward, and the panel makes it all come together. So I've been waiting for that, because it's not going to be a very good demo without the panel. What about RTSP versus RTMP? I haven't looked at the details of RTSP, but that is more commonly used in like webcam, like not webcams, security cameras, where there'll be an RTSP server. The way those work is your well, in this case, switcher would go pull the feed from it, versus RTMP, which is usually push, but you can have RTMP pull. The yeah, so RTSP is usually just pull, which you can, and SRT works both directions. But I don't know about like the protocol details between the two. My guess is that it's probably more suited for that kind of remote camera just because it's used in all of the security cameras, but I'm not 100% sure. Is there a way to reliably do SRT to and from a Raspberry Pi? There should be software that you can use on a Raspberry Pi for it. I haven't actually looked at that in a while. But it's all open source, unlike NDI, so it should be possible that it exists. Davis says, does everybody realize how expensive a high-end computer is going to cost by the end of the decade? It'll be a base PC for $2,000, no NVIDIA graphics card. If you want to buy a Neural Engine, $20,000. We want to use an iPhone as a camera on the RØDECaster video. Please help tell that to the Rode CEO. I don't have the CEO's number, but I do have the product manager on my email. So I have also definitely asked for this. So we'll see. It doesn't seem like it'd be that far-fetched of an idea. Let's just say that. Mark says, good morning, not related to switchers, but I have an six amazing display making a video wall. I've been using their software and it's not good. And I started using OBS to stream video with NDI. Why do you need video wall software? You can get a lot of boxes that do it. Like I have that 4 output one that does, feed a video in, 4K video in even, and then it splits it out into 4 screens, and it has different layout options. You can get bigger ones too. The small ones, like the 4-input ones, aren't even that expensive. Rich Photography says, your thoughts on the RGB Link Mini Edge. You know what? That one I do a video of. I thought I have a video. Let me try to find it. What? Oh, it's a live stream, not a video. That's why. Yeah. Okay, so this is even better. It's been since March since I've done that live stream. I will be honest, I don't remember all the details anymore. But that's why I do these live streams. That is 2 hours of me going through the device live with everyone here, trying it out. So take a look at that because it'll give you a sense of what it's like to actually use it. Autocorrect Samsung, not 6 amazing. Oh, got it. 6. Okay. This allows me to have a news feed, video content, and Google Maps showing in different windows. Any other recommendations to do this? So if you have, I guess the thing to think about is that I'm actually curious what software the video wall software is that you're using. But one way to think about it is the video wall is nothing special. It's just a giant display. And that display might be 16:9 aspect ratio if you have in a grid of 16:9 monitors. And if it is, then treat it as one giant display, not like separate things. And then you can just take however you want to encode your video and just throw it onto the giant screen, right? So if you're in OBS and you have little windows for the different stuff like news tickers and maps or whatever, just build your scene like it was a single monitor and then let the hardware sort out the video wall part later. Andrew says, take a look at DataPath video wall controllers. Yeah, I remember seeing that bunch of their stuff at NAB as well. I think they have a lot of the higher end fancy ones that can do different shapes and things. Because just doing like a 16:9 video wall is easy because a lot of then you can use a lot of sort of normal video switcher controller stuff. But as soon as you want to do like fun shapes, then you need something to know where you're positioning your video streams. Oftentimes they all still end up sort of treating the video wall in whatever shape it is as a single video canvas, that some of it just may never be visible. So if you have like a diagonal line of screens or something, right? And then like diagonal line, you could imagine that it's actually a rectangle video canvas, and then just most of the picture is not visible. So then you need to know how to position your pictures. But yeah. Okay. Well, I'm scrolling back through here. Oh, Gwen joined late. Thanks for joining. Yeah, it's daylight savings. Cool. Okay. Oh, here's a new question. Director Mini plus U7 outdoor and NDI device is the way to go for most of the broadcasts, especially BirdDog X4 Ultra with built-in battery and Wi-Fi NDI. That's a pretty good combo. Yeah, I could see that. I still have never actually used a BirdDog camera though. The only BirdDog device I have is the BirdDog Play, which I will say has not been my favorite device, sadly. Cool. Well, it's been 90 minutes. I think we might be about ready to wrap this up. Happy Halloween soon. My background will go back to normal colors after this stream. Daylight savings is next week, not today. In the US, it's next week, but in Europe, it's already happened, which means, and in Australia, it was a couple weeks ago. So like everyone just doesn't know what time it is anymore. It's a big giant mess. And daylight savings is next week, but I will be on. I'm going to be in Europe. This is like this seems to happen every year. Is I actually don't experience daylight savings time because I just travel to a different time zone during the changeover, and then so I'm in Europe when it changes in the US. So I never, and I just fly back to a different time zone in the US. So, so yeah, fun times. I don't get daylight savings time again this week or this year. So, but I will come back to a different time. And then after that, after I get back from that trip, it's my last trip of the year. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh. I'm so done with being on planes. Rich says, I've been playing that RØDECaster video. If Road Center had the ability to play a playlist, it would be amazing. That's another good suggestion. I agree. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Gosh. It's time to wrap this up. So what? Yeah. Keep an eye out on the channel for new videos, because I do have some videos queued up. One of which is that auto switching comparison. Do I have any new PK3D printed products coming? So NX3D has been working on a bunch of stuff for the new products that have come out. Their latest one, I think I shared it last week. The latest one is the little adorable cage for the Director Mini. Yeah, I'll put that in the chat. For the Director Mini and Autospot Talent, because it's the same hardware. So, but this, look how cute that is. Cage slash desktop stand. So you can either tilt it or gives you a handle for mounting it onto tripods and stuff. So very cool. And yeah, they have other stuff coming as well. So yeah, keep an eye out. Time doesn't change, only the clocks. I love the answer to the stream was any, then answer another question. Okay, now we're really going to wrap this up. I'm going to roll the credits. That way I have to wrap it up. And I just also realized that my animations didn't make it into the switcher after the reboot. So thanks everyone. Thanks to the extreme supporters, Larry, David, and Marcin. And thanks to everybody else for being a channel member as well. Make sure you join the Discord if you are a channel member, because we will continue chatting there throughout the week. And as I'm testing things out, it's fun to drop photos, behind the scenes stuff that's going on. Do give a stream a thumbs up. I don't have my little animation because that's what happens when the power goes out and the ATEM reboots. For some reason, they didn't add video memory into the giant ATEM Constellation 4K. I feel like there's room in there, so I don't know why. Anyway, see you all again, and I will not see you next week, but I will have videos coming out, so you can at least see me. And otherwise, I'll be back the week after, and it will be the dark times in Portland after the time change and winter. And we'll have more fun testing out more gear. I have so many things arrived this week that I need to test and do videos and demos of. So there's gonna be no shortage of content for a while. All right, see you all later. Bye.